Hello everybody, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, and this is my ride of and review of the 2016 Indian Dark Horse motorcycle. Try to squeeze out here so that way I can get out of the line, and that way I can be part of the group here.
Pull up to the front and wait, okay?
Go for front?
Yeah, just pull up to the front there and wait.
Okay. Okay. And I like this bike. I mean, just sitting on it. It's a very comfortable bike, as I can already feel that. There we go. Easy to get into neutral. Now, for the Indians, a little bit slightly different way they look. Your start-stop mechanism. This does have cruise control on it. Throttle by wire as well, and hazard light and start button, and then also your horn, self-canceling turn signals, which is standard affair if you're going to use it that way, and your bright selector switch. Down here you have your fuel gauge, which is digital, gear counter, and then you got your miles per gallon. Probably a way to change that. I'm just not sure how to do that yet. Let's see if I can figure out something here. Let's see, here's something, there it is. Okay, it's got a little button on the left side, just on the other side here, and just in front of the, or just behind the clutch. So it has fuel range, tripometers, and your regular odometer. Oh, an tachometer if you keep going. Also has an ambient temperature, which this one shows 101. Of course, I know it's a little bit cooler than that, just probably because they're in amongst a bunch of air-cooled engines that are getting toasty. All right. And then also you have attention. Then you got your, let's see, hold on just a second. All right. And then you got your tire warning indicator. Doesn't have a way to see the actual pressure, but it is on there that it will, if it's low, but it, you know, like I said, you can't read the actual pressure like on some bikes. Neutral indicator, bright switch. Turn signals is just single blinker, then ABS and check engine light. So, you know, standard affair inside there. It is a tank mounted dial, not my cup of tea. I know my Fat Bob has one, but I still am not exactly happy with those. You have to kind of look down on those. Let's see here. But this bike looks sick. I mean, that's the one thing about this one. It is slammed. It has these low drag bars. You sit low in the saddle. It has giant fishtail pipes. Everything is black. And that is something I like, is just something that is completely and utterly blacked out. Alrighty. And I've always noted that the Indians don't seem to have a very good automatic sensor for their self-canceling lights, so. Overall, I mean, when I'm riding this bike, I mean, like I said, Harleys are Harleys. You pretty much ride one, you start to pretty much feel them all. This Indian here, I've rode the Chiefs, I rode the Roadmasters, stuff like that. The 110 engine, or the 111, is flawless. I mean, it is a very good engine. The Thunderstroke has got to be one of my favorite motorcycle engines when it comes down to it. It's a very torquey engine. It has a very good sound when given the right pipes. It, you know, works very well with little vibration. The Indian bikes are very well balanced machines. So when you ride these things, you get good balance, you get good feel, you get good power. I mean, you overall get a very, very good bike. As you can see, he's testing the front end dive on that Scout. They do dive quite a bit. This one does not have any dive whatsoever. This bike is equipped with ABS, so has very decent braking. We'll find out here. I'll get a little bit faster and brake a little bit differently and see what it feels like here. Ah, there's a good feel. Good power. Come on, Polaris, do this with your victories. I want to see victory. I want to see 3 good American motorcycles, Victory. Come on. Your same company, borrow something from Indian. This bike is phenomenally, feels just great. Engine braking is really good. Transmission is 6-speed, and Very, very good shifting. Clutch control is very nice, about midway up, and then it catches and you're good to go. Bike is very flickable for as big as it is. I'd have to get the poundage on that and put that in the comments with the spec sheet on this particular bike. I think these run 15,000 somewhere in there. I'd have to look it up. I've looked at them because whenever they release a blackout edition bike, I always have to look at them. That's just my thing. I like bikes that are a little bit less gaudy with chrome and things like that. So when they come up with an edition like this, you just kind of have to look at it. Oh, this 110 is a phenomenal engine. Just like the other ones. I mean, it's smooth, it's powerful. Now this bike does not have your typical key setup. It is a key fob, kind of like my Fat Bob. You just walk up to it, have the fob in your pocket, and you can ride off into the sunset. This one's a little bit different in that instead of just using the flip control like you do on a Harley, or if you have a Sportster, you use the, I don't know what's happening up here, but this is getting weird. Okay, there we go. He went left and then went right. That was very weird. Anyway, this one, you press this button up here on the front end here, let it boot up, and then you can start it up. See, this particular bike, I'd have to look. It's got a big big fender on the front, so I can't see the wheels, at least in movement right now. But it's got very adequate braking. I'm assuming it's going to have twin discs up front, single disc in the back, because it brakes like it does. It brakes really, really well, really sharp. So the engine braking, though, is very good for it as well. Now, with these fishtails, it does sound really nice. It has a nice, deep, throaty growl that your stock Indian generally just does not have. This one just sounds great. When you roll on the throttle, you can hear that thing groan a little bit. Now, Indians are still air-cooled engines right now. They don't have anything that's dual-cooled like Harley or liquid-cooled, except for the Scout. That one is liquid-cooled. Like I said, Victory is borrowing that so that they can put it on their new bike that they're coming out with. So this bike is just like a Harley in every way, except for the fact that it's lighter, well put together as well, just like the Harley. I mean, they're both well put together bikes. I mean, that's what I like about Indian. Both Indian and Harley are absolutely well built bikes. I mean, if you're looking for an American motorcycle, it's going to be these two. Riding the Victories today, they feel so far like an afterthought now because Polaris is more or less putting their money with Indian now. That's what I believe, at least. But this bike has a phenomenal feel. It feels kind of like my Fat Bob, only it actually has a little bit more confidence inspiring in terms of how well you can turn it. It has floorboards on it versus pegs, so I don't have that feeling that my feet are going to blow off when I hard accelerate. So that's a plus. Kind of like my Triumph when I had her. Of course, Triumph wasn't going to blow anything off because that thing was kind of slow versus these things. This is just a phenomenal bike, Indian. Good job, Polaris. You did good on this one. Oh, hey, look. This one's got a spec sheet on it. I should look down. So anyway, Thunderstroke 111. This one does have the ABS like I thought. Cruise control system, keyless ignition. This one's all blacked out like I said. And this one does top out at $17,000, $16,999. So I was correct in assuming that it was about $17,000 or so. But overall, I mean, it just looks fantastic. I mean, it just looks great. Oh, ring it out, let her fly. Oh, it feels so good. So anyway, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, and on my honest opinion of this bike is definitely worth a look at, worth the buy. It is expensive for a stripped out bike like this. You can get some more accessories like my Fat Bob. I got it fully accessorized with the sissy bar and the windshield and everything like that for the same exact price as this one. This bike would be kind of similar to that one in a way. kind of that low dragged stripped down bike, so that's a good comparison. So when it comes down to it, this one's going to be a little bit pricier in the end when you get some accessories on it. Probably push you up to, you know, if you get bags and everything, probably push you up near probably fairly easily 17 grand, or already 17 grand, excuse me, about 19 grand actually once you get it fully accessorized, if you wanted to make it a kind of a touring bike. So looking at that, that's one thing that you'll have to consider. But if you just want a stripped out raw bike, pre-blacked out, that looks as, you know, custom as you can get it, this is definitely it. That flat black paint, flat gray Indian logo on the side that's just painted on there. This bike's an absolute beauty, absolute worth the buy. Anyway, this is the Rabid Hedgehog. Keep the shiny side up. Have a good one.